The rumors are true, and our wishes have finally been granted. Daredevil and Kingpin are set to reunite in the upcoming Marvel Studios Echo Disney Plus series. This news was just broke by The Hollywood Reporter, of course, one of the most trustworthy trades out there. And this is some great news. They just confirmed Charlie Cox is coming back as Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, for this series, which of course he recently made his big MCU return in Spider-Man No Way Home. We also know, at least according to rumors, he's going to be appearing in the upcoming She-Hulk Disney Plus series. And we also have Vincent D'Onofrio making a return as Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin, who also made his recent MCU return in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series. So it is super exciting to see that these two characters are now going to reunite in the MCU officially on Disney Plus in the Echo series, because this is going to be the first time we've seen Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin on screen together since 2018. And this is something we've been hearing about for a while now, so it's not really coming as a huge surprise, but just the fact that we have official confirmation now is just amazing. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they touch on this later this month at San Diego Comic-Con. But of course, this is going to be happening in the Echo Disney Plus series. Echo, aka Maya Lopez, is the character we were also introduced to in the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus as well. And so she's been spin off onto her own series. This series is going to be coming to Disney Plus next year in 2023. And it makes sense that these characters will be featured because Echo in the comics has such a huge connection to both Daredevil and Kingpin. Of course, we saw that connection to Kingpin in the Hawkeye series, where he's kind of basically her adopted father, or uncle, whatever you want to call it. He's basically her legal guardian, especially seeing as where the Hawkeye series left off, with her finding out he's kind of responsible for her father's death and all that stuff. It's really exciting, and seeing that Daredevil's going to be coming back in here. Maya Lopez actually was a love interest for him at one point in the comics as well, so that's something that could always be touched on here. But even further than the official confirmation that these two characters are returning for this series, we do have some official details. Now, from this official Hollywood Reporter report or news, the only real detail given is the fact that Daredevil, Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, is going to be looking for a former friend. And that's the only real detail that's given there, but due to other reports and leaks, it's basically confirmed that Kristen Ritter is going to be returning as Jessica Jones in the series, and that's, I'm assuming, is going to be that character that Matt Murdock is going to be searching for. But like I said, other than that, we have some more developed details, because a couple days ago, the Weekly Planet podcast put out a new episode, and this is a podcast I've never even heard of before, so I don't even know where they got any of this information from, but parts of it were just confirmed with these reports from The Hollywood Reporter, and they just have a bunch of information here about this series. So, according to them, in their latest podcast, this will happen in Echo. So, Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock is going to appear in 3 episodes and will wear the black and red suit. And this is something that actually My Time to Shine Hello, another very reliable scooper, was hinting at the other day. So, seeing Daredevil in the black and red suit would be awesome, because it's been said that Daredevil in the She-Hulk series is going to be wearing his yellow and red suit. So it's cool seeing that, obviously I love his Daredevil suit from the Netflix Daredevil series, which is now a Disney Plus series, but to see him wearing these other suits and other different colors that he's had in the comics, I think is going to be really, really cool. And this black and red one, of course, is going to fit in really, really well with the tone of this show. So I'm really excited for that. It is a little kind of disappointing, the fact that he's only going to be in 3 episodes. We're assuming that this is going to be a 6-episode series like the rest of Marvel Studios Disney Plus series. So, half of it, that's not bad. He's definitely not going to be like a main character, but definitely major supporting character. But then as for Wilson Fisk, according to this podcast, he's going to be appearing in 4 episodes and will be wearing an eye patch. And his arc builds up to him running for mayor in the MCU. So 4 episodes makes sense. The eye patch, because of course where we left off with him in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series, we saw that Maya actually shot him and it was kind of off screen. So, some people thought like, oh, is he dead? There's no way he's dead because he's coming back in the series. And this actually exact same thing happened in the comics, where Maya, when she found out about all this stuff that he was doing, she shot him in the face and he went blind. So I guess he's just going to be blind in one eye. I don't know how he's going to regain his sight or anything along those lines, but still sounds really cool that they're, of course, following up after that storyline and giving us that, but also him running for mayor in the MCU. And this is, of course, something that Wilson Fisk did in the comics. He became mayor of New York City, so I'm going to be really excited to see that storyline play out in this series. It says that it's just setting him up for that, so I don't know if that's just going to be like the ending of the series, he regains his sight, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm running for mayor. And that is something that I think could be really cool to pick up with in an MCU Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland. I would love to see a full movie with a crossover between Charlie Cox's Daredevil and Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That would be really awesome, them fighting the Kingpin together. That will be really great. If you actually check out my videos of my ideas for the next MCU Spider-Man trilogy, I have this idea of maybe Kingpin even setting up the Sinister Six in the MCU. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then finally, the last mention here is that Matt Murdock will be searching for Jessica Jones, of course lining up with previous rumors that she will be a part of this series, and also the Daredevil series for Marvel Studios and Disney Plus as well. So again, Kristen Ritter is returning to the role. That's super exciting. It's, of course, bringing up the question of the canonity here. Like, are the Netflix series canon to what we have in the MCU? Because we're bringing back the same actors. We got Charlie Cox back. We got Vincent D'Onofrio back. We got Kristen Ritter back. Possibly Wilson Bethel as Bullseye. I'll be doing a separate video about that later. But are we getting, like, Mike Coulter back as Luke Cage? Are we getting John Bernthal back as Punisher? That's the one I really want. Finn Jones as Iron Fist. I don't think anyone cares about that. I wouldn't mind it, but not looking too good. So, is it canon, or is this a reboot for the character? I feel like it is going to be probably a reboot for these characters, but it'll probably be a soft reboot, where it's like, they never officially address it. Maybe Kevin Feige or somebody in Marvel Studios will say that, like, hey, it's not canon, but whereas, like, in the actual movies and series and stuff, the characters will act pretty similar to how they did in those Netflix shows, the way we love them. They just might not retread storylines that we already did there. So this is something I personally am really, really excited to see in this Echo series, because obviously I loved Maya Lopez, aka Echo, as a character in the Hawkeye series. I thought she was really cool, really great for representation and diversity with her Native American heritage, and the fact that she's the first deaf, well, maybe second deaf superhero in the MCU. I don't remember for sure if Hawkeye came out before Eternals, because of course we had Makari there. She's a great character as well. So I love Maya Lopez as a character, but just the idea of her getting a spin-off show is kind of like, okay, but what is the show going to be about? Like, is she really that interesting of a character to do a whole show about her? Especially when you did basically your whole storyline from the comics in Hawkeye with her finding out about Kingpin being behind her father's death. So I've been kind of like mid-hype on the show, because I'm excited to see more of the character, but also like, what are they going to do with this? But the fact that we have Daredevil here, and Kingpin, and Jessica Jones, and possibly Bullseye as well, now that is what gets me excited, because this is basically going to be, as a lot of scoopers have teased in the past, kind of a proto-Daredevil Season 4 / Daredevil series, because Matt Murdock is only going to be in 3 episodes of the series. He's only going to be half the episodes, but still, it's going to be a Daredevil-like show, because it's set in that world and that corner of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's going to be just really, really cool. And this will, of course, lead directly into that Marvel Studios rebooted Daredevil series on Disney Plus, which is reportedly going to be PG-13. So I personally am really excited for this. I'm excited to see how they handle it compared to what we had on the Netflix show. I love, obviously, that we're bringing back the same actors, having that reunion between Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. But it's going to be interesting seeing how fans specifically react to this, MCU version of Daredevil and Kingpin, especially after a lot of people saying that Kingpin was kind of Disney-fied in Hawkeye, and that they're, since it is PG-13, they can't go as far or as mature as they did on Netflix. So, I don't know. I mean, either way, I'm still excited for this. I'm excited to see all these characters finally come into the MCU. These are great actors, great characters, and just great stories that are going to be told in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's all coming to Disney Plus next year in 2023. And again, we should be getting, hopefully, some official announcements on this at San Diego Comic-Con later this month. I'll be covering all that. Also, stay tuned again for my video later today, hopefully today, about Wilson Bethel possibly returning as Bullseye in this series as well. So look forward to that. But for now, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this. What do you think about this news that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are returning as Daredevil and Kingpin in the Marvel Studios Echo Disney Plus series, with also possibly the involvement of Jessica Jones as well? So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.